If he tells me you got it wrong, okay. I've built that trust with some coaches where I've said that over the years, and they're like, okay, I can respect Corey's word. Now I can't go that and do that multiple
I
times
love,
a game, right?
there you go.
Right? You get maybe one a game, right? And it's also the timing, right? You can't go into double overtime. Oh, coach, I missed that one.
No, 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 no.
That's not the
Double.
time.
This podcast is intended solely for educational and discussion purposes. The content shared within this program is not meant to embarrass, criticize, or humiliate any official, coach, team, conference, or fan. Our goal is to educate, inform, and promote a deeper understanding of the art and the profession of officiating, providing insight that benefits all who love and support the game. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of The Play of the Play. My name is Violet Palmer, and I am so excited today. I have one of my, I guess I really can't call him a youngster anymore because he's reached veteran status now, where he is in his career. But Corey Long and I, we're going to actually just have some fun. We're going to keep it real. We're going to break down a play, but we're going to kind of get into learning from tough moments in games. And we're also, because he's doing some mentoring now and runs his own little camp. So we're going to have some discussions about that. But I am so excited just to have this young man with me. He has grown. He's becoming one of my leaders. He's crew chiefing now. He's in the NCAA tournament. You know what, man? I'm just so proud of you. You've stepped it up. You've taken everything that I've thrown at you, and you just come out on top like you always do. So welcome.
Thank you for that introduction. I mean, that's really touching. I've been in your program for years, so it's cool to be here at this moment with you going into
Good,
this season. Yeah.
good. Well, and just for, the keeping it real segment and being candid and, you and I, we've had,
Mhm.
when in the early years of your career, and this is really good because this is what our young officials they have to learn from mistakes and learn from moments. And it's all about how do you persevere through those moments? How do you pick yourself up after you've had a game or you have a couple of plays where you're kind of dissatisfied with yourself, but for all of us, it's what we go through. And I know with you, we've had a couple of discussions. This is probably, I want to say, really, really early in your Division I career, where,
Mhm.
I remember one instance, and it's so funny, Corey. And all the referees, when they get on here, they go, "Boss, how do you remember all this?" I go, "I don't know. I'm really crazy. I should not remember you guys played like I do, but I do." But I
Right.
do remember we had a moment where you called a 3 seconds violation.
Yes.
And when I tell you all hell broke loose on that three
Mhm.
seconds violation, and the
Right.
great thing was, in which I always say, to all of you, is that it's not necessarily the play, it's how you handle the play and it's what you learn from the play. And in this instance, and it wasn't necessarily that you called the 3 seconds, but it was more so how you then communicated with the coach after you called
Right.
it, which put like this big negative stamp on the call itself.
Right.
And for you, that was pretty much the discussion you and I had
Mhm.
in dealing with this play. And and that's why and I can honestly go, 3 seconds, really? But it wasn't just the
This is what
call
this is
itself.
all about.
It
Right.
really had nothing to do with the call. It was more so being effective and having a good response after you make the play. So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about that one.
Yeah, and effective is a key word there. I love that you brought this point up. It's the after the call, right? Because to me, that we're talking about toughest moments of the game, right? For me, the toughest moments of the game are the administrative parts of the game, right? The plays are the plays. We're gonna have good ones, we're gonna have easy ones, we're gonna have ones that are difficult, we're gonna have 50-50s that can go either way. But how we communicate them effectively to coaches, to our partners, We have push to talk now.
Yeah.
We've got to be able to effectively communicate all of these different things. So that was definitely one play where, like you said, I made the call and not sure what my response was, but it wasn't effective in that moment. And I think looking back on it, I have to understand my audience and the coach
Great
that I was
point.
speaking with. That wasn't, whatever form of communication I chose in that moment, that wasn't going to be effective with that coach. Could have been effective with another coach
I like
that,
it. Beautiful.
right, that would have been more accepting to what I said or whatever style, I said it in. But we've got to know our audience as officials. We've got to know the coaches' personalities. We've got to know, what activates them or what they will accept in that moment. So, yeah, it was definitely the administrative part of it. And just throughout my career, I think I have definitely, that's been a focus area of wanting to be a great administrative official. And what I mean by that is we have so many different mental aspects of our game, right? We're managing the clocks. We're being effective leaders and communicators with the coaches, with the table crews, with our partners. We're accounting for the rules. We have rule changes every 2 years.
Absolutely.
So this being I think my ninth year of Division I basketball, I've gone through 4 rule change years. So
Wow,
now
this is your
imagine
ninth? God, time flies. It
right,
seems like,
doesn't it?
you know what, Corey? How about this? It feels like literally this is year 4 or something because I literally remember just teasing you, and I come up with nicknames for you guys because
Mm-hmm.
you came in,
Man,
you had such a mild mannered personality, but it was only mild on the floor because off the floor you were totally different. And I never forget, I remember having a conversation with you, and I said, okay, Corey, you're going to have to somehow, this off court personality is going to have to come on court. Because
right,
I used to tease you and call you mute because I just felt like you were so quiet, which I knew you wasn't quiet. Don't get me wrong. I
right,
knew that you were
right,
not
right.
quiet. But
Yeah,
it was just kind of like an inside joke between you and I
it was.
because I knew that I wanted you to come out of your shell of because again, you're smart, you study, you train, but I'm like, you got to be able to articulate all of those things while you're on the floor. I know what's in your head. I know what you know, but you somehow had to figure out a way to now let the crew, coaches, administrators see that side of Corey because if they don't see that side, then you're not gonna be believable. They're not gonna think that you can be a leader. You can run the game. All of those things kind of come into all of it. And I challenged you with it. And you took it. You never had an issue with it. You just used to smile and chuckle and go, yeah, V, I got you. We gonna change this. And you
Right.
have. And just even listening to you right now when you said, when making mistakes and now you no different than you now you have a mentor group. You're running your own little camp in the summer and how you've just did like a 360 on you just said to me, which is so true because now you're kind of in a leadership role for yourself is that you got to be able to know coaches. You got to be able to learn their
Absolutely.
personalities, and they're not the same. And you had a great point with the 3 seconds call was that you know what? It wasn't necessarily what I said. It could be both what you say and how you say it. Response, giving that response at that particular time just wasn't effective. It wasn't that it was wrong because you could never be necessarily wrong when you're trying to respond to a coach. But
Right.
again, that coach could take it, they can just fly off a handle and you go, I never meant it like that at all. That wasn't what I was trying to say. But we have to look at ourselves and for us to figure out how can we be more effective to get through this adverse situation, this
Right.
adversity in this game, so that we can just get to the other side. Because that's really what it boils down to. Nothing,
Exactly.
nothing's written in stone, nothing's perfect. Everybody's personalities are different. I had a call with a coach this morning, since we're talking about coaches. And his question was, it was from a game last night. which I get them, pretty regularly right now with the start of the season.
Right.
And his
We're in it.
question was, hey, Violet, I just want to know, with these moving screens. And the first thing I say to him, I said, Coach, I can answer your question. I can give you my opinion. But when you're talking about judgment and you want me to give you my opinion on the play, the first thing you have to do is send me the play. I can't, we're talking hypothetical right now. You feel like maybe we called it a legal screen because, with time and distance. But his point was, so how much distance do we have to, does that my player have to have? I said, it depends on how fast she's running. I said, and that's why I got to be able to see the play to be able to give you
To have
my
that
honest,
content.
to give you, to put it into context, because those little key components are so important to us being effective. And I give him credit because he wasn't necessarily saying that the crew got to play wrong. He was just
Right.
wanting to know, how can I teach my kids, or what
Hmm.
can I do to help them with doing better with these screens? You know what I said, Corey? I said, how about this? I said, let's go back to the old school ways of when I used to play, where our coaches, they used to teach us that I'm supposed to help my teammate out and call out the screen. Number
There we
one.
go.
I said, so regardless of how many steps you need or how fast you're going, if I'm running up the floor, Corey, and you're my teammate, I say, hey, Corey, screen to the left, then you already know
Yeah,
possibly
there
you
we
go to the right, or you're gonna hit that screen because you're most of the time they running with their looking over their shoulder, or looking at the defender, not looking peripheral. They don't see that the screen is coming out their peripheral
Right.
vision. And he said to me, he said, wow, Violet, he said, you dead on that. I said, but, and again, I'm not saying that you're not teaching that, but it just
Hmm.
seems like that's not happening a lot in today's basketball, where you hear players call out, hey, screen to the right, screen to the left, whatever you want to give your teammate, to just give them just a little help to know that you're about to run into a tree
Exactly.
and you got to make some movement. So I just found that interesting that I just had that this morning from,
Right.
with,
Right.
of course, those are normally their questions, but
And in it, interacting with coaches too, I think one thing that I had to figure out is, I mean, it sounds very basic, but it's listening first.
ooh,
Honestly, listening first, because this interaction you have with this coach, he's just trying to get education for his players during the game. Sometimes coaches just want to be heard, and they don't really look for a reaction or a response. There's other times when they ask a question and now they want a response. So I think as officials, and like you said, I work with a lot of young officials. The first, the first thought, our nature is to react to coaches. Where it's no, our first intuition should be, let me listen first, then I can respond or evaluate what my next words or next actions may be.
dead on. Very, very good point. Very good point. So let's, you for yourself, which I'm very, very proud of you. I'm very proud of what you're doing with yourself personally, and I can say this for so many of our referees. We have so many mentor groups. We have, I love it. I really, it makes me feel really proud and really good that everyone is really bought into, we must be our brothers and sister keepers. We must help. We must talk. We must just have a setting where we can learn from and not be sensitive, and just have different styles and how we can teach and how we can help our fellow officials. And I think, not only for you, uh, starting your own little camp, but just tell us a little bit about what you're doing with your mentor program and your camp in the summer.
Yeah, well, yeah, thank you for asking. So I co-founded Sharp Whistle Officiating with Deanna Butler and Giselle Wardlow. I know you know them very well, though, on your staff as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the three of us have a partner in creating this training program for young officials. We specifically enjoy working with young officials who want to climb the ranks, right? When we started this group maybe 4 or 5 years ago, we weren't that far removed from that grind of starting out in the rec leagues, moving on to high school basketball, D3, D2, making your way up to Division 1 basketball and even the pros. So that was really what inspired this group, is wanting to support officials in that journey so that they can be educated. Because there's a lot of what we really emphasize is the off the court things that come with officiating. I think a
Wow.
lot of
And
people
that is
don't
huge,
understand,
Corey, because so many
isn't it?
so many officials, they miss the boat. They focus on just the plays, you know, everything that I do on the floor, no different than just now that it just touched on something that just popped in my head is that I had a meeting last week with commissioners about background checks. See, because you just said
Yeah.
things off the court. Because literally, if our officials are not handling their business, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, and that can be making sure your credit is right, that can be making sure that, everything as far as everything, eligibility is good, you can screw yourself and you can get caught
Absolutely.
up in a way that possibly you may not be able to recover from, especially
Agreed.
with like your background check. If you
Right.
got high debt ratio, if your credit's not good, if you got charge offs on your credit card, people, I don't think officials, when they're trying to come into Division 1, they don't even realize
They don't
that
think about those.
they don't think about that. But see, for us, this is about education. This is about we're trying to put things out there where officials can really learn from all of this and say that, wow, you know what? I never thought about that. I listened to Violet and Corey, and man, I need to, I'm trying to get in Division 1, and you got 6 or 7 charge offs, your credit card's at a max, you done had a DUI. I mean, I'm serious. Now, this is stuff that for me, that comes up, and I'm like, you don't realize that this can destroy your career before you even get started.
Right. Right.
And it's something you could take care of. You just have to be mindful and you have to understand that this is the business part of what we do
Yeah.
because
It's business.
it's
It's a profession. We are professionals out there on the floor, and we have to act like it off the floor as well. So we've got to be professionals. We've got to take care of our administrative duties, taking care of our paperwork,
I love it.
meeting deadlines, getting your physicals. Even as simple as sending legible emails. You know what I mean? Those are the type of things that it seems simple, right? But those are the type of things that we talk to our young officials about. These are the things you have to take care of, being punctual. Just being a good person off the field too. Because I know that's something you definitely emphasize
Man,
for your staff. Is just you want to hire good people. You don't want to hire anybody who is going to come on the staff and be arrogant or not fit in with the team, right? So all of it is important. We really emphasize. Obviously, we do our on the court stuff as well. We have our summer camps before the season. We take a deep dive into the rule book, September all the way leading up to the season. So yeah, even throughout the season, we're sharing clips, breaking down film and stuff like that. But throughout that process, we're really emphasizing the professionalism and the administrative part of this business because it's important. It's
well,
very
how
important.
about this? You guys help me because again, and I like, and I'm sure you'll take any official that wants to come, but I like you're saying that, you know what? It's the less experienced officials because at the level that you guys are, they can relate to you guys very well. I think they can be more vulnerable with you and Deanna and Giselle because
Agreed.
of your years of service. You guys you're kind of in that middle, where those less experienced officials won't feel so intimidated because sometimes if you with the big timers, the ones that have been
Mhm.
around for 20 something years, sometimes those less experienced officials are a little afraid to go to them because they don't want the top officials in our leagues, not to say that you're not one of the top, but you know what I mean as far as years of service, because
The ones that have been around,
for years.
for
They don't
years.
want them to look bad, to think anything bad about them. And that's
Right.
really not the case. It's an individual thing, but I really love that you guys have kind of taken on for yourself. But it just goes to show you the growth And it goes to show you how talented and how smart and how dedicated our staff are. For you guys to just come up with this on your own has nothing to do with me. Like, I was so excited when you guys invited me. I said, "Oh, I'll be there." I was so happy to be there. And
Happy to have you.
man, just to
You can come
share, I
every
mean,
year. I know
we
you
had a
already know
great
that.
panel with myself and Penny and Michelle McCoy, our JUCO, with Kathleen McGlynn. I mean,
Right.
you had everybody right there for these younger officials to be able to ask questions, to just be around us and just talk. And we watched their games. You had a great classroom session. Those things are so valuable. They're just huge because for me, it tells me that my staff, y'all get it. You understand the assignment of, no, it's not all about Corey Long. Corey Long is going to do well. Corey Long understands how much work he has to put in. You understand where you're trying to get to. But it's nice that you're able now to give some guidance to less experienced officials so that possibly they won't make the same mistakes you made,
There
or
we
they're going to
go.
make different mistakes because we all make them.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And to add to that, honest, because you touched on just me in my younger years, right, having to come out of my shell. Teaching other officials has definitely helped my growth in that area, right? Because now I've got to prepare verbally to make sure I'm reciting what I'm saying. I can articulate it properly. So that translates over into the court. Now I can articulate it to coaches better. Now I can articulate it to my partners better. So all of it is tied together where me supporting their growth is turning around and supporting my growth as well. And it's been a great journey. I've enjoyed it, honestly.
Well, you know what? And your journey has been really good because you're still young in officiating, but you're doing very well. And I have to credit that to your work and your dedication personally. See, because everyone has to own that for themselves, and I never forget, and see again, you guys say stuff to me and I know you think I just kind of blow it off, and I never do. I don't, because I'm always able at some point in time to bring it back to you. And I never
Right.
forget, we were at, I think it was UCLA, and it was an NCAA tournament game. And you were there just watching because you would always come watch. And afterwards, you said to me, you said, "You know what, boss? When am I going to have an opportunity to work
Yes.
one of those?" Remember, you may see it. I know you
I
think
do. I do.
absolutely. And
As soon as you say UCLA,
it was, yeah, I'm telling you. And I said, "How about this? I can tell you for sure you will receive your opportunity if you just keep doing exactly what you're doing, being dedicated, studying, working on your craft. Trust me, you're going to your schedule is going to grow and you will have your opportunity to referee in the NCAA tournament." Tell us what's happening right now.
hey, I've been there 3 years in a row, so it's been awesome. It's been awesome. Yeah. And I appreciate that, the support from you over the years. Your training program is, I mean, second to none. I've had great mentors along the way, starting with I don't know if you know this, but my dad got me started in officiating. So
Absolutely, I do.
I consider him my first officiating mentor. And then, I've met so many great officials along the way. So it's just, I'm humbled. I'm honored. I'm ready. I'm happy the season is here. It's always a fun time. Really fun time.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, you know what? I'm so proud of you. I just love who you've become, and I love that now you're really putting yourself out there as far as being a mentor and being a leader. And it takes work, and everybody says they want to do it, but a lot of people, they just don't even know how. It's different when you can say to yourself, "Hey, this is where I want to be, and what do I need to do to get there?" And you've done the work to literally put yourself in a position to where you are now. Not only as one of the leaders on my staff, you're one of my crew chiefs. You're an NCAA referee right now, and then you taking it to, you see, again, you wasn't satisfied with that. You want to add another notch to your belt with now your sharp whistle, training program and camp, because it's important for you to just continue to better yourself. And but that, it's funny when we do all these things, no different than what I love doing with the podcast, because it makes me feel really, really good. When I went to a game, I was at Pepperdine last Friday. And a young lady comes up, she's been to basic ref school, and the first thing she says, Corey, she goes, "Oh my God, boss, I love the podcast. Oh my God, you guys give great nuggets." And I'm sitting here saying to myself, well, that's really the objective.
Right.
So that means we're doing something good. And however,
Absolutely.
however we can reach officials at any
Hmm.
level, at any
Yeah.
time, this is all we want to do. And if whether it's a camp, whether it's a Zoom call that you have every other month or every month, or whether it's this podcast,
Right.
our objective in VP12 and with Basic Referee School is to train and develop and mentor and to just put the information out there for officials to learn from,
Yeah.
because that's
Yeah.
what we're here for, because that's what somebody did for me. No
Right.
different than, like you just said, you got it. See, you got it from your dad. That was your
Exactly.
first mentor. Oh, and then after getting into it, you obviously meet a lot more people, and you have a lot of different mentors. And then mentors, they do different things for you. People don't understand that. Not every mentor is not going to take care of every single thing you need.
So true.
You get
Absolutely.
nuggets from different people that you have watched over your career, that have shown you things to do, do things a different way. And within your own personality, you learn from it as well. So, you know what? I just commend you. I'm so proud of you, of who you've become. You're a married man now. That was
Yeah.
beautiful. I actually was able to attend your wedding. It was
You
beautiful.
did.
You have a
Thank
beautiful
you.
bride, and I always tell you every time I see you, what do I always ask you? How's the wife doing? She's still putting up with you,
Wife.
right?
Yes, she is. She's surviving.
Yeah, yeah. But again, it's funny how things in our lives, they go all the way around, and they make us such well-rounded people, because we need all of that, because what we do is not easy. It's very, very tough. So you always want to know that
Absolutely.
you have someone that loves you. You can go home to at least
Exactly.
someone that's always going to lend an ear. They may not know what the heck we're upset over or what we're
Right.
mad at, but you know what? I know she'll listen. I know
She's
that.
listening. Right.
I know she's gonna be on your
Right.
side, because we all need that. And I know I need it for myself. But I'm so happy of who you've become. I'm so happy of just the that you've taken every single challenge that I've given you, and you've
Thank you, B.
nailed it, and you tackled it, and you wasn't afraid.
Thank
You
you.
never said to me, "I don't think I could do that, boss." You never. And that's not who we are. We
Right.
you
Right.
came
I wouldn't
you
have it any
came
other way.
Yes, you came from officiating pedigree. Your dad been doing this. I knew your dad when I was a high school referee. So when I got a chance to meet you, I was definitely not surprised that you had drunk the Kool-Aid and came on over. So, you know what? I think it's awesome, and I'm proud of you. And don't change a thing. Just keep growing, keep
Yes,
developing,
ma'am.
keep getting better, and the sky is the limit. Young man, you so young in this that you got a long way to go, and that makes me feel so good. And I'm so proud of you that you're now wanting to give it a get a lot give a lot what you have received, to give it away. And that
Absolutely.
even tells a bigger
It's a
story.
must. Right. Like you
Awesome.
said, there's other people that did it for me, so I've got to pass it along. And
Beautiful.
I'm going to continue to grow and share more as I continue to grow. So wouldn't
Absolutely. You
have it
better,
any way.
which I know you will, though. I know you will. So, hey, all right, we're gonna keep it rolling, everyone. Now we're gonna get into the nuts and the bolts of what we do, and this is the fun part. Corey and I, we're just gonna have some fun. He sent me this play, and this is literally what we would do if he sent me the play after a game. We would have this discussion. We would discuss the coverage of the play. We would discuss whether we got it right, whether we got it wrong, what we can do better. So kind of set it up, Corey. What we got?
Absolutely. Yeah, so this play, really it's about coverage, picking up the right defenders, getting our eyes in the right place. And it's pretty early in the game. So we have a lead An inline throw in, balls passed to the top. You can go ahead and play it. Balls in this trail's primary, passed over to the C's primary. So now that you could pause it there. Take it back a little bit for me, please. Balls in the C's primary right here. So my eyes, as the trail, are going to go off ball. I'm looking at what looks like it could be a back screen action in this high post area. The lead has started their rotation. Their eyes are going towards the post matchup. And then we have the action going forward. Go ahead and play it for a tick or two. And now we see, okay, no screen, right?
Right.
We got a flip. Player cuts, great play, great draw up. And we have a help defender sliding over. So now where I get caught is I don't get to that help defender in time enough. I
Got it.
hang on to the what I perceive to be screening action right there, the high post. And now we have a pretty obvious tripping call, and we have a no call.
Got it. Got it. Well, how about this? We can start from looking at the coverage of it to start with. Everybody was in good position. Looking at the beginning of it, I think initially when you sent it to me, and I thought, well, maybe our lead could have went earlier. But now looking at it, she actually see, because I thought right now she should be in my view. Well, there she is. See, she heard me. Because she's in the view now, and she now has that post on opposite side going over. That's her, right now that's her action area, which that's what she picks up. And here's what's interesting is that for you, in which I love that you put yourself out there like you did, which that help defender starts in your primary. So she's really yours. But because you pick her up so late that you just don't react to it. Not like you didn't see the help defender, you did. You just didn't see her from the beginning because you stayed a little too long at that screening action that kind of dissolved for you.
Right. Yeah, and that's where the eye discipline comes in, right? The court coverage discipline. I was telling a group of officials the other day, I used to believe that like the best officials, the Final Four officials, right? They're there because they're making the big calls late in the games and all that stuff. But it's really not that. It's the best officials in the country. They are very consistent with their fundamentals. When they need to make a position adjustment, they're doing it at a 95% rate. When they need to get their eyes in the right spot, they're doing it at a 95% rate, right? So we have got to have our eye discipline and make sure, okay, that action there has dissolved. Where's my next action area? And like you said, for me, my next action area was that help defender. The lead's occupied with the post matchup. And that at that time, this is Clippers, I think, from a couple years ago. That post player over there, she's one of the best post players in the league. So we've got to get eyes on her, right? The lead is occupied with that. So yeah, for me, get to the next action area, which is the help defender, and I get a pretty obvious trip.
Got you. But here's what helps us. I give what I do like. I give our lead much credit because we teach this, is that she didn't try to switch defenders. She stayed with where she was refereeing. See, because she still hadn't she was starting to turn, which she starts to turn a little too soon to accept her air of responsibility. She should have went almost, maybe she starts turning at the S, and she probably should have went maybe a little past the S to the T to now turn her body to accept the play. But I give her credit because a lot of times we feel like this crash action happens right in front of us that we should have a whistle on it. But she doesn't. She's disciplined within herself to say, you know what? I didn't see this play from the beginning, so I can't have a whistle on it. Because if I guess, she can maybe guess and now want to call an offensive foul. She want to, because she didn't see it from the beginning. And I'm really happy that she didn't, because again, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, because in this play, we had no whistle. We should have, but the ball goes in.
It does. Yeah.
So here's what
the referee put her hands up.
Exactly. So the referee gods were kind of in our favor Now, here's another thought process. Maybe now that the ball goes in, you go, I'll leave it alone. It is what it is. We missed the contact. We could have had an and one, but we get lucky on the play. But just say, for instance, it'd be interesting to see if that ball wouldn't have went in, possibly would you have had a whistle or Karen would have had a whistle in the lead? Just
Yeah,
curious. You never know because it
you
didn't
never
happen
know.
that way because obviously it goes in and we're cool, we're clean. But again, did the coach ever ask you about that contact after? Or we got out where they didn't even ask us?
I'm sure they did, but it didn't lead to any more conversation. I don't think you
Yeah.
got a phone call.
Yeah. Well, no, no, no. I don't. No, it's not a play for a phone call. I was just curious because, and sometimes, you could have a discussion with the coach where all of us can learn from it. Just what did they say? Did they make a comment? Did they not make one? And I think, if they didn't, there was no comment because the ball went in. If that ball wouldn't have went in, you and I may be having a different conversation because then you say, "Nah, V,
Hmm.
you know what? I had to now go over there and talk to him and." Either say we should have had a whistle, we missed it, be honest. See, this is where I would tell a less experienced official that if they say, for instance, the ball doesn't go in and we don't have a whistle, we play on. Afterwards, coach wants to talk about it. I would go over just as easy. Coach says, hey, you know what? That contact on the play, with my player going to the basket, we no called that play. Looks like she got bumped pretty good. And I would say, you know what, coach? You're absolutely correct. We should have had a whistle on the play. And I guarantee you the first thing the coach gonna say is, thank you. You know what? I thought for a minute I was tripping. No, you're not tripping. We should have had a whistle, but I think in the past, we're doing better with this, Corey. I can honestly say, as a
Agreed.
staff, that we used to want to hold to what we didn't call or what we did call and not listen and not want to put ourselves out there and not be vulnerable and be
Right.
approachable and be a little more humble as far as our demeanor, our body language to say, you know what? I should have had a whistle
Absolutely.
and I'll get the
Yeah.
next one. And I guarantee you, our coaches look at us like human beings. They go,
Right.
wow, you know what? Thank you for that. Thank you for the honesty. Thank you for, not coming at me like I'm saying something crazy. Because in most cases, a lot of times they're not. It's just how we, how we can become better listeners, how we can diffuse things. One of my other favorite lines, when they go up, we come down. We
Right.
stay in that tone that's, you know, just monotone, where we're not heightened, so that if they're heightened, we stay down, we can bring them back down. And
Right.
now we can have a real even keel conversation real quick, get in and get out and move to the next play.
Yeah. And I think doing that too, giving yourself up, being humble, admitting, I missed that one. That I feel, in my experiences, it has built trust with coaches because now they know, okay, Corey's coming. He's going to be honest with me, right? If he tells me he got the play right, let's move on. If he tells me you got it wrong, okay. I've built that trust with some coaches where I've said that over the years, and they're like, okay, I can respect Corey's word. Now I can't go that and do that multiple
I
times
love,
again, right?
there you go.
Right? You get maybe one a game, right? And it's also the timing, right? You can't go into double overtime. Oh, coach, I missed that one.
No, 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 no.
That's not the
Double
time.
overtime. See, you know
Right.
what? You can say that again because see, here's where there's times in games that, you know what, yes, I missed it. But you already know when we get down to the play at the end, end of a shot clock, end
Hmm.
of the game clock, end of the game. We get paid to be right. We get paid to
Exactly.
have an opinion. That's different. And you can't come up with those excuses. And I love that you said that because our officials need to hear that part. This is not the time to tell me I didn't see it. I say, oh, you can see everything else, but now you can't see it when we're down to crunch time. And here's where I need you to step up and have and give me an opinion on
Right.
whatever it is happened, whether it's wrong or right. I don't even care. Hell, we could call it and we could still be wrong. But at
Yeah.
least you did something. You
Have an
didn't
opinion.
just, you wasn't caught looking.
Right.
Swing the bat. You got to, you know?
Love that. Go Dodgers.
You got to do it. You have to do it. So I love that you said that because that is so true to whereas where we are in today's officiating, and I can honestly say that every time I say mention that to a coach, when I say, hey, you know what, we know our officials are going to be vulnerable. They're going to be honest with you. They're going to tell you if they didn't like it, they're going to tell you. And do you know they actually say that to me? They say, wow, Violet, what a great crew. They actually admitted that they didn't, they got something wrong or they didn't like something. It really goes a long way for
That's
us
all. Yeah.
because it's our credibility that's on the line. And it's more important to gain that type of credibility than to feel like you're always right on a play. It doesn't necessarily, you could be right 0.9%. If they don't buy what you're selling,
Hmm.
you're dead. You're not going to be successful at any level, at any sport. Doesn't really matter. I mean, I think that the good thing is like for yourself and putting yourself out there and being able to share those type of experiences with you know your crews, with different officials. You just want Corey Long's help. You know, I love that you have that honesty, that you're vulnerable, that you're not afraid to put yourself out there. You're not afraid to give our officials the truth because that's what's going to make us better all across the board. And I think that's one of the real reasons why, as a staff, I believe that we're doing better is because everybody's mentoring, everybody's studying, everyone's in a mentor group, everyone's discussing plays. We're not afraid to do that. We're not afraid to put ourselves out there. We're not afraid to be vulnerable. And the more we just have to keep talking about it, and we just have to keep doing it because it's why we're successful. It's why we're getting better as a whole and as an individual.
Yep.
So I just want to say thank you. You know, thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for putting yourself out there. Thank you for being a mentor, being Corey Long, who you are, because it says a lot. You know what?
Thank you.
It means a lot to me. You're very, very valuable. You have so many years ahead of you. And I just look forward to watching Corey Long grow, watching you develop, just watching you get better and better. So thank you for taking the time to come out. Well, everyone, I want to say that, hey, you know what? Here we are, another phenomenal episode. It's great. I think, you know what? We can all learn, we can all develop, we can all mentor. And I think this is something that each of you can learn from this episode. And you know what? I'll just say, take the time to, if you can, be a mentor, help another official at any point in time, or if you're not at the stage of your career where you can be a mentor, you can still be a good mentee and join a group and just continue to work on your development and where you are. You know what? This week, find a group. I encourage every single one of our officials, find a group that you're comfortable with, and we don't care what group that is, whether it's one with us or you with someone else. But I want to say that continue to grow, continue to learn, and continue to develop. And thank you for joining us for another episode of The Play is the Play. And we're out. Peace, everybody.